After a year of healing, this YouTuber is finally ready to talk about his injuries.
Felt stupid that I even got myself in that situation and that I even allowed somebody to have control of my life.
He might never be the same again. An accident caused by recklessness could have serious repercussions.
And the part of your brain that's hurt is actually where happiness tends to hang out.
Lawyers could get involved.
It sounds like our hunch was correct that going out with that excavator unlicensed and unsupervised, it gotta be illegal.
What will happen next? Before I get into the story, I just want to put out a disclaimer. Please do not send any hate to Jeff Wittek or anyone else involved in this story. This video is simply meant to report on the news and give some insight on the situation. YouTuber Jeff Wittek has come forward to talk about the Utah trip he's been hiding from social media for a year. On April 18th, Jeff uploaded the first video of his 5-part series Don't Try This at Home, called Coming Clean About Everything. We briefly mentioned Jeff's situation in our previous video, where Jeff severely injured his head and eye because David was out of control on the excavator and Jeff did not follow the rules of wakeboarding. In his docu-series, Jeff said he knew the rope wasn't steady but took the risk anyway. Jeff also shared details about his injury. The doctor said if he had been hit in a slightly different position, he could have lost his eye. After the accident, Jeff was hospitalized in one of the best hospitals money could buy and told his mother David was going to be paying for his stay as David was the one driving the excavator. While in the hospital, Jeff said he felt like the Batman villain Two-Face and had David show up dressed as the Joker in an homage to a scene from the Batman films. Not even a week after being discharged from the hospital, Jeff was making videos again.
You're only as good as your last video, and you have to stay consistently posting in order to stay relevant.
After returning to his channel, his injuries were still very noticeable. Many viewers were harsh about his appearance. Some said it looked like he had poorly done Botox, unaware of what he was recovering from. At the time, Jeff chose not to disclose his injuries to his audience. Jeff said he initially felt resentment towards David because David was off doing adventurous and fun things while he was stuck at home healing.
Felt stupid that I even got myself in that situation and that I even allowed somebody to have control of my life. I've played this out over and over again. I'm in this by myself now. I'm the one who has to deal with this injury.
Jeff's mental state plummeted, and he ended up getting advice from Casey Neistat about how to cope. Then, Jeff had a number of surgeries to try and save his eye from further damage. While Jeff was going through this, David did not contact him for a month. A month later, David showed up and explained why he was absent.
Obviously, I've never been in a situation like this, neither has Jeff, neither probably any of us. I didn't know the correct way to go about any of it. Especially Jeff's such a tough guy, so you don't know if you have to be there to baby him or if that pisses him off.
Not long after the surgery, Jeff decided he wanted to go skydiving and brought David along for personal reasons.
I don't want to carve. I don't want money. I want you to risk your life and you not be in control for once.
6 months after skydiving, Jeff found out he needed a 5th eye surgery. He decided to head back home instead of staying in Utah and ended up having to remove the stitches on his own. Jeff was devastated when he realized he still couldn't see out of his eye very well, which meant he would need more surgeries. Dealing with the fact he might never get his sight back or could lose his eye took a toll on Jeff's mental health.
I don't know what to do. How do you find out you're gonna lose your over text?
3 months after the surgery, Jeff was still struggling with his mental health.
Finally realized that I need help. We're on my way to get my brain scanned. He's the best doctor in the brain game. Maybe I have brain damage, maybe I'm just dumb. We'll find out.
Jeff said he spent so much time focusing on his physical recovery that he had been neglecting potential injury to his brain.
It's not just my eye, a lot of it is mental. I got in this accident 8 months ago, and all we focused on was my eye, and I've been neglecting the brain, and I've been following this depression. It got dark, and sometimes really, really dark, and I didn't tell anyone. I just kept it completely to myself.
Jeff's brain scan revealed devastating news.
Can we jump right into, do I have brain damage, yes or no?
Yes.
Do I?
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Amen told Jeff it was important to focus on positivity.
And the part of your brain that's hurt is actually where happiness tends to hang out. So if we can fix that, then consistently you'll be happier without having to do something amazing.
Dr. Amen also explained Jeff injured the most important part of his brain.
The area that's going to become really important is right here. which is right where you had the injury.
Dr. Amen said despite Jeff's intense injuries, it was still fixable.
Fixing it isn't just the brain, it's also your mind. And they go hand in hand. And holding on to the bitterness isn't going to help you heal.
Jeff said he was going to start seeing a therapist to help with his mental health. A lot of people respected Jeff for sharing his story. I didn't go through all of this to quit now. Seeing this man so upset and cry, but still push forward through this is incredible. Love that about you, Jeff. I'm only a few minutes into this video, and I wanted to say that this is really important disability representation. This will provide comfort for others who experience a TBI and let them know they are not alone. I know it must have been hard to share this all, but this series will help so many. Thanks. My respect for Jeff was already there, but it just keeps going. Many people were upset with David. The fact that David severely injured and almost killed Jeff and then proceed not to talk to him for a month is just disgusting. To those saying it's so sweet David paid for his hospital bills and visited him, that's literally the bare minimum of what you should do, especially when you're the one who caused it. Y'all. The way David expressed relief that Jeff was humorous in the hospital really came off unsettling, as if he felt that took him off the hook. On May 15th, we got more insight on the legalities of the situation from lawyer Emily D. Baker, who was a guest on the H3 podcast. Emily said members of the Vlog Squad aren't listed as employees and don't get paid for their participation in the videos. Ethan suggested they get paid in clout. Emily said it's not legal to pay people in exposure in the state of California. That wasn't the only illegal thing about the situation.
It sounds like our hunch was correct that going out with that excavator unlicensed and unsupervised and slamming one of your homies into it is gotta be illegal.
Emily confirmed Jeff could have a legal case against David, and the state of Utah could even file charges against David for negligence. That same day, Jeff spoke up on his podcast, Jeff FM, about why he wouldn't be suing David. What David did was dumb, but just the way I was raised, I'm loyal. My parents raised me to never sue people. Jeff also explained Dr. Amen told him he would stay mentally unwell if he sued people. He reminded his audience that money isn't everything and friendships are important. If I sue David for a few $1 million and I win, I've sued my friend, and now our relationships. He said he would rather take this negative event and turn it into something positive, and relationships with his friends, family, and fans were more important to him than money. Some people didn't believe they could be as forgiving as Jeff. I don't know if I'm just not mature enough, but I would not be so forgiving and quick to defend my so-called friend after almost killing me. David must have convinced him not to sue by guilting with his DACA status or something. If not, it just doesn't make sense not to sue. However, most people were proud of Jeff for forgiving David. Every time you open your mouth, my opinion of you just goes even higher. For someone so young, you are wise beyond your years. May only good come to you from here on out. Kudos to you, dude. I like your perspective on it. If David was some dude you barely knew, maybe it would be different, but you knew him well and he knew you well and there was no ill intent. Again, I'm impressed with your take on this. I love your positive outlook in your future. I definitely agree with you. It's best to turn something bad into something good. Helping others going through something similar will help you heal together. You're awesome. Looks don't matter. Money doesn't matter. Good luck. Trisha Paytas also chimed in. Totally respect Jeff for this, but as a friend, if I'm David and I hurt my other friend and took him out of work for a year, as a friend, I would offer compensation out of compassion, guilt, and also because I'm in the position to. I'm shocked he hasn't. Accidents happen, of course, but if it was my friend or family, I would insist to gift money, especially since this wasn't just a car accident where an act of God occurred. This was something specifically for entertainment and proper precautions were not taken to ensure safety. I'm glad Jeff is doing all he can to gain something positive out of this, and I'm not even mad at him for being loyal. It just feels like there should be more coming from David. Just my opinion. It don't really mean in this situation. I had a guy who did my hair extensions only twice. He got in a crazy motorcycle accident and I didn't think twice to finish his GoFundMe. Not because he asked, but because my heart hurt so bad knowing his work was in jeopardy because he couldn't move his arms. Money does not make you happy. This is very true, but sometimes it can make a situation less stressful or at least not for nothing. In a reply to a now deleted tweet, Trisha said, I've had 2 phone calls with Jeff where he said medical bills were the only thing that David paid for. I'm sure that would be mentioned in the video if David offered money and he didn't accept. She added that she believed David was getting away with not doing the bare minimum yet again. Anyway, again on the list of things David should be accountable for. If Jeff wants to let it go, it should be let go. But there are others where David still hasn't done the bare minimum for in terms of making serious situations okay, and I'm not talking about myself. Because of his mental health struggles, Jeff had set up a donation for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, on his videos. As of the time of this video, he had raised over $5,000. However, because of the graphic nature of his videos, YouTube age-restricted the docuseries. Jeff tweeted out his frustration, "Hey YouTube, you age-restricted my entire series. I'm trying to do something positive with my platform. I said clearly all the money was going to a mental health charity, but now you stopped that. It's literally a fundraiser video to raise money for mental health during Mental Health Awareness Month. YouTube, can someone explain this? We worked very hard on this project. I even gave a piece of my brain. This is very discouraging." YouTube responded to Jeff's tweets. Our policy team reviewed the video and confirmed that it is correctly age restricted as it's not appropriate for everyone, particularly our younger audiences. A fan asked Jeff what age restriction meant for his campaign, and he clarified it meant NAMI wouldn't receive any of the raised funds. He did say he would be donating money from his Patreon to make up for the lost funds. On May 21st, the Amen Clinic uploaded a second part to their video on Jeff. In the video, Jeff talked about how his career has affected his mental health. He said one of his biggest fears is being vulnerable. It scares him because he doesn't want people to hate him for who he is. He said he likes to put on a comedic persona in his barbershop videos. Jeff also asked Dr. Amen about how much marijuana he is allowed to smoke.
None.
0.
Zero.
Okay.
Only if you want to close the hole.
Jeff didn't seem very happy with Dr. Amen's answer. Dr. Amen said he wanted Jeff to love his brain, not abuse it. Jeff said he used to consume too much alcohol because he believed it made him more fun and outgoing. His work is also a big stressor.
Creating content every day, so I have to come up with ideas every day, every night, and this is throughout the stress of my life, so it gets difficult sometimes.
Jeff also revealed he was diagnosed with sleep apnea at a young age. Dr. Amen was surprised to learn Jeff didn't use a CPAP machine at night to help him breathe. Dr. Amen referred Jeff to a sleep doctor and reminded him sleep is important for brain function. So, what's the big issue? Even though outdoor stunts look fun, especially when your favorite influencer has done it, it's still important to know the dangers and health risks that can go along with them. As we saw with Jeff, his injury was dangerously close to becoming fatal. And as a content creator, it's also important to take a step back and understand that crazy stunts for views is not worth risking your life for. Even after a year of filming his docuseries, he still isn't 100% healed and doesn't know if he ever will be. Thankfully, his doctor said he can recover with a lot of hard work. Views, fame, and clout are appealing, but they aren't worth risking your life. It's important if you try to do stunts as Jeff did, such as skydiving and hot air ballooning, you take safety precautions and always have a professional with you. Even Jeff needed a professional with him when skydiving. In 2018, 24.5 million Americans visited the emergency room for unintentional injuries. Of that 24.5 million, 173,000 lost their lives. Unintentional injury is the third leading cause of people losing their lives in the US. No matter what you do, take precautions to stay safe. Internet clout is never worth losing your life. Thankfully, Jeff seems to have a positive mindset about the situation. He's working on healing and is back to making videos like he loves to do. What would you have done in this situation? Would you forgive your friend? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. To keep up on all the tea, consider subscribing to the channel.